Grace and back with another video. Welcome if you are new and welcome back if you're returning. I have a lot of stuff going on. I've been having a lot of anxiety, but I've been really just feeling like playing in my makeup would make me feel better. But I am having I'm jumpy, I'm a little shaky, things like that. So if you notice it, I'm just gonna apologize in advance. But here we are. I wanted to just play in my makeup and try to make myself feel better. And we have everything on except for eyes because we're going to get into an eyeshadow palette, which is, of course, my favorite thing about makeup. I'm an eyeshadow palette collector to a very large extent. But we are going to be getting into the new Melt palette today, the She's in Parties palette. It was created off of they had a plum shades stack or whatever have you, and so they created this. Ooh, let's get this little plastic out. But this palette, when I saw it, I love Melt as it is, but this color story, I'm just like, it's everything that I need and want in my life. And it is so pretty. It is a little bit smaller than their normal palettes. I should have grabbed one, but all of my palettes are in my Melt box over there. But normally the palettes are 10 shades and this little guy is 8. So it is a little bit smaller, and then the price difference is by $10. So their regular 10 pan palettes retail for $58. This guy retails for $48. But the packaging is just beautiful, and I love a good purpley plum, even up into, the burgundies, all that kind of stuff. This is everything, and I'm so excited to dive into it. I figure since we are just playing in a palette today, I'm obviously going to do an eye look, and since it's just this little guy right here, we're going to do full swatches. So I'm going to swatch all of the shades, and I'm going to do them live so you can see them being swatched, and we're just gonna see what happens with this little guy. But I love Melt so much. Their pigment is insane. I probably should have done my eyes first because usually we do have some fallout with Melt shades, but I did my base already, so we're just going to roll with the punches and hope for the best. But let's go ahead and just start swatching. I have 5 fingers on one hand, so we'll start with the first 5 and then go over into the last 3. Their palettes, I've noticed normally they pretty much go from light to dark, which I love. For someone who's OCD, sometimes I don't mind most eyeshadow palettes. I think they're beautiful, but whenever they go light to dark, it's very satisfying to me. So the first shade is called Skeleton Kiss, and it is a gold shade that has a little bit of a pink shift to it, but it is a beautiful metallic duo sort of shade. I bet you if you wet it too, it would probably make it just total liquid gold. And then we have Strange Love, which is a purple metallic. It's very lavendery with a hint of gold in there, and it is super beautiful. I think those, let's see, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, it looks like 5 of the shades are actually shimmer or metallic shades, and then we have just 3 mattes. So the next one is called Total Immortal, and this is our first matte shade that we're going to swatch, and it is a dusty lavender, I would say, almost like a mauve, but definitely all leaning purple, all shades leaning purple in this palette. But it was very pigmented, very beautiful. They do have kick up, but I've always said with Melt, the pigment that you're getting, the bit of fallout that's there when you have very deeply pigmented shadows, it's just to be expected, and I'm willing to deal with the fallout that it comes with in order to get the outcome that I'm getting from a Melt shadow. And then moving into the next shade, this is another matte. It's called Last Caress, and it is a deeper plum purple shade, and it is so beautiful. These shades are so gorgeous, and they always swatch super satisfying. My best friend, as soon as I got this palette and opened it, I was like, oh my gosh, she would die over this palette. And I showed it to her and she was like, oh, I need that. And of course, like, the price tag of Melt is a little, like, I will admit that, but I think it's worth it. But again, you know, some people are like, oh, I can get the same sort of look and buy like you know, a $12 palette from ColourPop and things like that, and that is true, but I love Melt. There's just something about their shadows that sets them apart from other brands, and the pigment and the way that they apply and the way that they look and the way that they hold their pigment. I don't know. It's just a whole other game for me, I would say. So this is the shade She's in Parties, which is the name of the palette, and it is very much a like bronzy sort of like purple metallic shade. It's got some purple in it. It's, I don't know, it went on like absolute butter, and it is so gorgeous. Love that. I love that shade. Actually, that might be my favorite shade so far, because that is really pretty. So that was the first 5 shades, and then we're going to move over to our other hand and get into the last 3 shades. So this one is called Sleepwalk, and it is a very, very deep metallic. You see how they swatch, and I'm literally going like that in the pan, like bink, and it's insane. This shade, very much, it's got a little bit of like a brown situation going on to it, but it's like a brownish purple. Again, everything like tones leading like plummy purple, things like that, but it's definitely a very deep sort of, it's like pink, purple, brown situation going on, but the way it's swatched, I'm just like, okay. And this is our last matte shade, and it's called Mean Streak. Like, look at how this is what just blows my mind with Melt shadows. Like, like what? That is so beautiful. And that is like a super deep like wine plum shade, and oh my gosh, look at that swatch. I am just like, and again, just going like in the pan and then ring, and like that's insane. That like totally covered the entire like tone of my skin. It's like insane. Okay, last shade, now that I'm like mesmerized by that shade. So this one's called Lost Control, and it is another metallic. Okay, again, pigment like nobody's business. And this one I'm having a hard time like describing, because it's hard to see on camera. Maybe you can see a little, but it does have like, it's almost like bits of this like glitter, not glitter, but like this, it's got its like base of this like almost grayish purple, and then kind of like a bronzy little like reflect to it. But that is all of our shades. They are so gorgeous. Like, they all swatched completely pigmented and so beautiful. That deepest shade though, I am just like blown away. So I'm excited to jump into an eye look with this, because I love me some deep plum shades, so I'm ready to do an eye look. I'm gonna go get these swatches cleaned up, and then I'll be right back. Okay, so I just took the swatches off, and I did the swatches just on my bare skin, no primer or anything, and I just took them off with some micellar water, and I don't see any staining, so that's always nice, like with a purple. I do have always, like, I have layers on my lids because I have oily lids, so I have my, like, whatever I use, like BB cream, foundation, whatever, concealer, powder, eye primer, and then powder again, because that's what keeps my lids from messing up. And I also just say, like, people that are concerned about staining, the more you layer, the better, because then your skin, it has more of a shield. So if you're like, oh, I really don't want this to stain, if you're getting into pinks, purples, reds, all that type of stuff, just layer up on your base and then your primer and like powder over it and everything, and that's really gonna help, like, either to eliminate or to very much minimize your staining. So that's just my little 2 cents on that. Let's zooming into my face. Ooh, ooh, ooh. I've talked about this before, but I know I'm now just starting to put stuff on YouTube, and I have new subscribers on YouTube. I use an app that helps with like my lighting and focusing on me and filters, things like that. And then I have an external microphone, and everything just kind of helps with the audio, but it is like a filtered app, so it's focusing on me, and so it'll like move other stuff around. If I go in front of my face, it'll like glitch, and you see like when I get out of frame, it starts to do funky things. I said it a million times. I haven't found anything better yet, so if anybody has any suggestions, I always say please leave me a suggestion for a better app, but this is the best one I found so far. It's been working for me, but if you see weird stuff going on, that's what's happening. So I'm just gonna kind of reach in and grab brushes. I don't know exactly what I have going on. Like, this is a Farrah 3-minute tapered blending brush. I'm just gonna start with that, and I'm gonna start with the shade Total Immortal. I'm a big person where I do the lightest shade like all over the lid. That is very like, I would say old school, I guess. Oh, and you're also gonna notice that it's gonna contort my brushes. I'm sure everyone's noticed these things, but for new people, that's what happens, and I do my best. I should have picked a fluffier brush. I guess this looked fluffier to me when I picked it up. We're just gonna put that shade all over as our base. If you guys own any melt palettes already, which ones do you own and what do you love about them? Or like, which is your favorite? Or just tell me anything about you and your melt and what you think about it. And if you think this palette is gorgeous, if you picked it up, if you're thinking about picking it up, I want to hear all the things, so sound off in the comments, guys. Oh, what brush next? What brush next? This is a e.l.f. XJ Kissa J4, just something a little bit more like dense, and I'm going to take Last Caress, that matte shade right there. I can say now that like I paid more attention to, because when I first saw this palette, I just saw it and like was immediately like, boom, yes, I'm buying it, which is a very big case with me if I think it looks aesthetically pleasing, but I didn't realize that it had so little mattes, so I would say that I would have enjoyed if it was like half metallics, half mattes maybe, but we're like one shade away from that, or like more mattes, but I like a matte shadow, so. Now I'm gonna take Last Caress and just start deepening up my outer corner and into my crease. These shadows are extremely pigmented, so I always, I do this with pretty much everything, but also when I know a formula, I start very light-handed, because you can always add more, but you can't really take away. So there's that. But that shade is very, very pigmented, so I went in light-handed, and then I'm just gonna kind of build it till I get it where I want it. Okay, I really like that shade, it's so beautiful. This is my patchy eye, so it's doing what it does best. It's being patchy. But I also carried, obviously you probably noticed, I carried that shade into our lower lash. Sometimes I do my lower lash at the very end, sometimes I do it as I'm going and just kind of mirror everything. Just depends on what kind of mood I'm in that day. I'm going to find another brush, maybe. Can't ever like find what I'm looking for. No. Nope, that's not it. No. All of it's no. Okay, here we go. What is this? So this is one of the Coca-Cola Morphe brushes. Since it came in a set, it doesn't have a number on it. But I want to deepen up the outer corner some more. Oh, you know what? I'm just noticing. Before I do that, I'm gonna carry Last Caress a little bit further in, I think. Carry that a little bit, yeah. Okay, and then we're gonna take Mean Streak, which is that super deep shade here, and go into the outer corner with it. And we're gonna be so gentle because this shade is insanely pigmented. This is definitely giving me like witchy, vampy fall vibes, which I'm ready for. I used to not be a big fall person, and now that I'm older, I am. So I'm ready. I will say this purple is a cooler tone as it is. I forgot to zoom y'all back in. But these looked a little bit like especially this deeper shade, it looks more kind of, it's gonna be warmer in the pan, but everything is very cool toned, and I'm a cool toned person, so I'm happy about it. And then they have sort of like, obviously that like more bronzy shade is gonna help bring in some warmth and things like that. So there are really good shades, I feel like, that are gonna balance things out. I'm just going to blend my edges. And I haven't been taping for my looks as much, if you guys haven't noticed, but I go through like phases of I want that sharp line, and then I go through phases where I just want everything to be like super like blown out, blended out, and that's kind of where I'm at right now. So but I really like what we've got going here. This eye, it is just patchy, and so I have to kind of go back in and like fill the patches and blend really good and try to get it to match my other eye and get it to play nice. I know with not so many, like, since it's only 8 shades in the palette and we only have a few mattes, that it was going to be a pretty easy eye look to do for this video, but hopefully you guys enjoy it. I think what we're going to do is I'm going to take, I was going to try to use She's in Parties because like that's the shade named after the palette, but I'm thinking I'm going a different direction. So in my head, I'm thinking I want to do Sleepwalk and then some of Strange Love. Those are the ones I'm thinking for this look. I always say go with your gut, and that's what my gut is telling me right now. So we're gonna do Sleepwalk kind of like in the center of the lid, and then in the inner we're gonna take the lighter shade. Okay, now I'm gonna get Strange Love and stick it in the inner and then like fade it into the Sleepwalk. I can't remember shades today, Jesus. Okay, so looking at that shade Dry, did have a tiny little bit of fallout, not a lot. So looking at that shade Dry, I think I want to wet it and then do it again. And then I always say for people that are going to wet shadows, do like a layer of it wet and then do a little pat of it dry over top, and that really helps. But I'm just gonna, what I normally do is I get some on my finger and spray with whatever I want to spray it with. I usually like to do Fix Plus. I'm about to be out of my Fix Plus. It's running very low. But then I just kind of wave around because you don't want it to be like extremely wet, but you want it to be damp, and then just very gently sweep it on there. And then I'm going to take a dry finger do a little bit of it dry. I feel like that looks really pretty. I feel like it's not reading so hot on camera. Like, it doesn't look as good to you guys as it does to me. So now I need to blend out the top edge of my eye, and I'm going to use some of Last Caress to do that and just get and I'm not going as high with my shadow today, I'm noticing. It's just, again, always whatever mood I'm in, because I do blend all the way up into the brow bone, but sometimes I take like my color all the way up into it. But I am leaving some space today. That's really pretty. I'm feeling this whole like cool tone purple. I'm just obsessed. Okay, so since I started dry on the last one, I feel like I need to just repeat the same thing I did on this eye to make everything even. So And I'm sure y'all have heard me say it before, but take the time to get used to switching your hands when you're applying with your fingers, so that way you're getting the same angle and the same pressure on either side. It does take a little practice, but then once you get it, like, I swear it just makes all the difference than you trying to like do this business when you can just go in onto your whatever your non-dominant side is. Super pretty. I really like that. Okay, so what I need to do now is some inner corner, and to stick into the palette, I'm going to take some of that gold shade on the end called Skeleton Kiss. And we're going to use that as our inner corner highlight, and hopefully it will do what I'm looking for it to do. So we're going to find out. This is a Morphe JS13, just something small and dense. It looks cute, but I always need something like super like highlighted in my inner corner. So I'm actually going to take I'm going to cheat a little bit and take one of my loose highlighters and just highlight my inner corner, because I can't have an inner corner that's not super bright. So we kind of use that shade as our inner corner highlight base, if you will. And then I'm just taking some of my Artist Couture in the shade, I think this is Summer Haze. Yep. We're just gonna do that, and then I think I'm gonna use this also just to get a little highlight on my brow bone. Okay, so that's our eye look. Ta-da! I also didn't carry all the way into my lower lash line. I do that sometimes too, but there's our eye look, and I'm going to get some brows on and get like lashes and everything on off camera so we can look less crazy, and then we will talk overall about the She's in Parties palette. Okay guys, here we are with our finished She's in Parties eye look with some brows and lashes on. These lashes are actually my lashes in collaboration with Stargirl in the style Ashton. So if you love the lashes, I have the link in the description to get them for yourself, and my code to use at checkout is Gray35. So the Ashton lash is $9 with code Gray35, and it is my cute little collab with Stargirl in memory of my cousin. If you want to see the whole story on that, I do have a reveal video, so you can go into my previous videos and check that out. But I just wanted to throw that in there, that these are my lashes in collab with Stargirl, so I'm very proud of them. I love them. I think that they are perfect in between dramatic and natural, and I love Stargirl lashes, so whenever I got the chance to do a collab with them, I was so excited because these are really good lashes. They're comfortable, the band is so nice and flexible, they just like jump on your eye, and I love it. So if you want to check out the Ashton lash, follow the link in the description. So let's talk about our palette. So She's in Parties, I love it. I'm obsessed, especially with fall coming up. I'm like, okay. And I've already said with like other things that have come out this summer, it's like, you know, we're gonna have just like a dark summer, like a vampy goth summer, and I'm just feeling it, and I'm obsessed with this. I love this. These all were so pigmented, ridiculously pigmented, no complaints at all whatsoever. Everything performed wonderfully. They blended out like nothing else, just blended by themselves. I love the way their palettes are set up. I like their pan sizes. I like that all of them have this nice, beautiful, clear mirror. All their palettes are just nice and sleek, and love the packaging. But they could honestly throw this in a piece of cardboard and I'd be like, hand it over, because these pigments are so good. Like, girl, so good, so good. So, sorry, I just got a little bit of I always get a little bit of a runny nose when I do makeup because I'm like breathing in all my setting powder and stuff, I feel like, so that happens. But go check this out. go check out this palette, guys. I know I'm in like I'm weird today, so I'm sorry, but I'm obsessed with this. I love me a purple. If you love you a purple, plummy purples, you're into the witchy, vampy fall vibes, this is gonna be it. This is it, sis. I'm obsessed. I'm obsessed. No complaints. $48. I will pay it because this is really good. I have nothing bad to say. Nothing. Like, the fallout wasn't even, it's not even something terrible, and the pigment is insane. I didn't have like a bunch of fallout all over my face. I do have a little bit of powder right here. Let's just get that off. But that wasn't eyeshadow. But I didn't have like a bunch of purple fallout on my face. I did my base first and all is well. So go check out the She's in Parties palette. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I hope you guys stick around to keep watching me. I love every single one of my subscribers so much, and I'm so thankful for everybody who supports me, and I'm also all about helping people. I say this all the time. This is my big thing. I believe anyone can do makeup. I'm a licensed cosmetologist, so I'm totally open to answering any questions, giving any tips that I have, anything like that. I know some people are like, oh, you have a license, who cares? But I just tack it on there because technically I am a professional. They license me. But if anybody has any questions about anything, I can't even like think of something off the top of my head. You want to know how to blend your eyeshadow better. You want to know how to apply your base better. You want to know what's best for this skin type or that or this. Go for it. Message me on Instagram at Beauty by Gray. I am in my stuff all the time. I'm on my socials all the time, on my phone all the time. So I'm good at replying. So go for it. I'm here. And again, good palette. Really good palette. Love this. I'm gonna go enjoy the rest of my day sitting in my house looking bomb in the She's in Parties palette. If you haven't checked out Melt at all, go check out their other stuff. They have amazing palettes and they have all kinds of colors, and you can go from rainbows to greens to neutrals to purples, all of the above. Go check out their stuff, and I will see you guys on the next one. I love you so much. Bye.